Want to see my new patches? So tomorrow I am decorating my senior overalls with my friends Jenna, Liana, and Danae. For our last year of high school, it's customary at my school to buy a pair of overalls and decorate them with patches and paint and just kind of wear them on the first day of senior year, maybe like the last week of senior year, as a celebration. And I wasn't actually planning on taking part in said tradition, but my friend Liana asked if we all wanted to come to her house tomorrow and make them together, and I couldn't say no to that. That sounds so much fun, and I love my friends. So anyway, a quick patch tour, and while I'm showing you the patches, we will discuss what lies in store for this video. We have the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. Stay broke, shoot film. I've never shot on film though, because I can't afford it, so it's fitting, it's fitting. But one day, I'll make a movie, and it'll be in film, and it'll be beautiful, I hope. Next, we have this Toy Story patch. It says, "You've got a new friend in me," I think alluding to the spoon, the fork? Not sure. As I was going to say, I haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet, so I'm really looking forward to watching that. I think it's on Disney Plus, so maybe I'll go do that after this, because it's a day off. Oh my gosh, it's so bizarre. My work schedule just went from like 6 shifts a week to 2 next week. But I get to work with my favorite coworker, so all is well, all is well. And last night I went to a movie screening for The Suicide Squad, and it was wonderful. It was very bloody, but it had so much heart in it. And I actually got to go with my friend Austin, because since it wasn't a pre-screening, I got to bring someone, and it was just a lovely time. So I slept in today, and now I'm feeling like just a cozy day is in store. Next, we have Jurassic Tours, some beautiful pride hearts. And last but not least, I think I have maybe 2 more coming in the mail, but last but not least, the one I have so far, I have this Frida card. Pin, patch. I'm really excited for tomorrow. It's gonna be great. Okay, before we dive into the Q&A, my neighbors have like a mini farm in their backyard, which is awesome. So we're gonna really quick go look at the beautiful produce that they gave us. They gave us a fresh jar of honey, so we'll brew a tea to have while we do the Q&A. Grab yourself a cup of tea, a snack. Let's go make the tea, and we'll be back pronto.
When everything's the matter and there's no one left like you. Wait for the sunlight. Cover me for I die for that love. Don't you wanna feel it?
The honey is magnificent. Thank you, Sławek and family. They also own like a pierogi store in town. They're like the coolest ever. I think this video could also use a candle, so let's go light one.
In another life, I'll make you stay, so I don't have to say you were the one that got away.
I'm going to light it at that table behind me, because if I do it here, I will fail, and that would be possibly catastrophic. Okay, so I think that today we will start with the questions that people asked me on Instagram. Sound like a plan? What's the first movie you remember seeing in cinema? So the first movie I ever did see in the movie theater was Mr. Megorium's Magic Emporium. And I remember nothing. The first movie I distinctly remember seeing in the theater is Tangled. And the reason I remember is because I didn't want to see it. I thought it was going to be a horror movie.
This is the story of how I died.
This is the story of how I died. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't possibly fathom this being a Disney movie. No way am I seeing this. But my mom made me a deal that if I went and saw it, I could get my ears pierced for the 3rd time, because I'm allergic to nickel, and we didn't figure that out until after the 3rd time. So I did in fact go to see Tangled. I did love it. Rapunzel is my favorite princess. And I got my ears pierced for the 3rd time, and now they're closed once more. What would make the absolute perfect book? Ooh, I think a collaboration between L.M. Montgomery, who wrote Anne of Green Gables, and Octavia Butler would be the perfect book. It would be sci-fi with beautiful nature imagery, slight cottagecore feels. It would be fantastic. However, I don't think I'd want to read like the world's most perfect book, like excluding that option, excluding L.M. Montgomery and Octavia Butler, because then it wouldn't be like human. And I think the flaws in stories are what make them human, and that's what I love about books and stories and adventures and tales of old is they connect us across time, and if something was perfect, it wouldn't be able to resonate with everyone. What inspires you to continue creating YouTube content? Love you. Love you too, Sophia. Sophia is the president of my book club. We have a dandy time. What inspires me? I really like it. I enjoy YouTube a lot, and I love the people that I've met, and I love interacting with people in the comments. And I also like, specifically for vlogs, trying new things cinematically. It's a good opportunity to practice editing and production, which are the fields I want to move into my adult life. So it's a good opportunity there, and then I just really enjoy it. It's just a really great creative outlet, and I'm delighted that I found it. Next, what made you start up a YouTube channel? Firstly, I was desperately bored during the beginning of the pandemic, so March 2020, which is a very lucky place to have been in. I had a place to stay. I had a safe home. Now, when I knew I was sick, I was in a very fortunate set of circumstances, but like many people, I was desperately bored, and I wanted to create something that would help me cope with my mental health, and that would allow me to do so in like a fun way, a creative way, a challenging way. YouTube was also never something I thought I would do, so it just seemed like an outlandish idea clearly came to some sort of fruition. And then lastly, I did not read books for freshman and sophomore year of high school for the most part. I fell deeply out of love with reading in middle school, like after the dystopia phase, after the Hunger Games and Divergent and all that jazz, because I had to read these awful, awful books for school, including Gaviotis, which I remember my teacher, Mrs. Hernandez, who loved guinea pigs, prefacing our unit on Gaviotis by saying that it was a terrible book and we would all hate it. And so at the end of sophomore year, going into the pandemic, junior year, I really wanted to make that a goal. That was like my only goal for 2020. And I thought YouTube would be a good way of holding myself accountable for that, really making sure that I was analyzing the books in a creative and fun way, and it would allow me to interact with other people like you wonderful folks. Thank you for being here. Cheers. This from my friend Erin Tillman, who is the most beautiful singer I've ever met in my life. What inspired your love of film, and what's your favorite movie? I'd say what inspired my love of film, like from the onset and maybe subconsciously, was the fact that my dad was always recording home videos when I was growing up.
Just stand right there. Can you tell me about him?
I think it's the mate of the one she originally found. I'm just guessing.
What makes him so special?
They seem to be about the same size.
Yeah. I'm going to zoom in on him a little bit, okay? So just hold him steady. Are you shivering, honey?
No.
I think you are. He's a beautiful crab, Maya. Well found.
I made it move!
Just like constantly and without fail, he would have a camera, which I'm incredibly grateful for, especially now, because I don't remember a lot of my childhood, so it's really fun to look back on very specific memories captured in film and feel the love that he put into those videos. And I just remember thinking that was so cool. And I could do that too, and I could do it for me, my life, and I could also do it for fictional lives and other people's lives, and just give them the opportunity to travel back to a time or a place they've been to or never have. It's just wonderful, and I adore it with every fiber of my being. I've been saying that so much lately in videos, and I'm going to try to stop because I'm annoying myself when I'm editing. Yep. As for my favorite film, that would have to be The Florida Project, directed by Sean Baker, starring Brooklyn Prince. On my name tag for work, I work at the movie theater. It does say my favorite movie is The Perks of Being a Wallflower, directed by Stephen Chbosky, starring Logan Lerman, Ezra Miller, Emma Watson. And that is definitely also one of my favorite movies. I think it is such a beautiful depiction of high school. And there's actually a video on YouTube, a video essay that someone made about Perks of Being a Wallflower that encapsulates my feelings about it so perfectly. So I will link that above for you to watch if you so wish. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Let's see, 5 years from now, I'm turning 18 this year. So I'll be 23, which means I will be just graduated from college. Oh, that's an interesting question, because right now I'm just so focused on, college apps and scholarships and internships and things like that. I hope that in 5 years I will be pursuing what makes me happy. And I can say with relative confidence that that will still be film. But if that changes, I hope that I pursue whatever I love then as well. I hope I have a cat. I am allergic to cats, but I think they're so cute and I really want one. And I hope that I have a stove so that I can make spaghetti with clams whenever I want. All right, and then the last 2 questions from Instagram both pertain to senior year, so we will segue into that. The first of those questions is, what do you most look forward to senior year? And the other one of those questions is, how have you liked your high school experience so far? Are you excited for senior year? I don't know. I'm definitely excited to be done with high school. It has not been my favorite experience, but then again, I've made fantastic friends, and so what I'm looking forward to senior year is hanging out with them more. We've made a pact that we're going to do as many activities as we can and actually participate, because I never really cared about school functions or dances or sports games or anything before COVID, but then with last year not being able to attend any of those things and not being able to go to school as often, I feel like this year I want to soak up every bit that I possibly can. And last night was a perfect example. I had a friend's birthday party, very small, masked, of course, masked and vaxxed, darling. And we had pho and boba, and we watched Barbie and the Island Princess, and it was fantastic. And then I had a screening at work, like I mentioned earlier, for Suicide Squad, and my friend came with me, and I got home at like 2:30 a.m., and when I got home, I had a package waiting for me with my patches, and it's just like such a small thing, but it was just a magnificent day, really was, and I want senior year to be full of those things. As for like the practicalities of senior year, I am very stressed out. I will not lie to you. I have not started on my Common App personal essay. That is actually something I'm not too worried about, because I am relatively confident in my abilities as a writer. I am, however, very nervous about the film samples for film school for college, primarily because I think I've gotten myself so anxious about them that I'm just convinced I have no ideas, even though I know that's not true. Or I'll have an idea, but I'll talk myself out of doing it because it's not realistic. So I think I just need to get out of my own head a bit, and lately I've been trying to do that with dance workouts on YouTube. Super fun. There's ones to like Folklore and Evermore, and I love them. And journaling, of course. I think I just need to remind myself that this is just another chapter, and it might seem like all-consuming and all-important, not only it just like right now, but for the next 4 years of my life, but it will all work out. And it'll be okay. And I've put in the work in high school and the effort, hopefully, to make this time slightly easier for myself. I'm also really excited about student equity this year. We have some really amazing plans. My co-leaders are incredible, and I think we might even start a podcast. So I'm really excited to see what we do there, what tangible changes my school and district make in terms of equity, whether that be racial, religious, gender, sexuality, etc. I'm very hopeful for this year. Last year we got a good kickstart in student equity because we had incredible leaders like Jasmine and Chabeli and Kayla, and this year I hope to pick up where they left off. So at the end of the day, my high school experience has been lucky. I've had a lot of opportunities. It's also been very hard, specifically sophomore year. That was really bad. But in general, I'm excited for senior year. I'm excited for jazz choir. I'm excited for AP European History. And I know that I just need to make it a time that I enjoy. Okie dokie, I'm going to run and grab my computer, and we will do the questions on the YouTube community page. And then we'll talk briefly about the end of summer. And then we'll part. Perfect. So the first question is from Avery, and Avery wonders, my intended major for college. Good question. Either a BA or a BFA, which is Bachelor of Fine Arts in Film and Television Production. That's the dream, and hopefully an emphasis on editing or directing. Directing is the most popular path, and editing is what I love most, but I would also love to direct. So that's the plan, and my top schools at the moment are Chapman, UCLA, USC, NYU, you know, except USC's acceptance rate is 1.5% right now, so not holding my breath on that one. This one is from Molly, and they asked about actually publishing pieces of fiction, and I actually answered their question on the community tab because it's a little more extensive. I'm going to do a video on that. So effectively the question was, I noticed you have pieces published. Have you got any advice on submitting work? And then the points that I suggested were submit anywhere and everywhere, create a submittable account. I provided a link to a bunch of lit mags and journals, write a solid cover letter template or bio that feels authentic to you, and have fun. So yeah, I'll definitely make a video on that in the future. I think I made one a while ago, but like a long while ago, so it's probably time for a refresher. From Mr. Funky. I like that. If you could be a YouTuber for a living, would you? No, I don't think so. I think that YouTube is absolutely something I will continue to do throughout my life, and it's something that hopefully will begin to give me some passive income, but that is not the ultimate aim for me at the moment. I think it is a very valid aim. I think it's very funny when people say like YouTube is a sustainable career, because most people don't stay at one career for their whole life. You know, I just find that comical. I think it, again, is a wonderful job option. It's very tough, and if you can make it your career, good on you, because that's really impressive. From Eden, who's been here since the beginning, what's the best film adaptation of a book you enjoyed? And your opinion, of course. Hee. Perks of Being a Wallflower, but that's like a given, so let me think of another one. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna say Gatsby, with all of the irony in the world, because I love that film, but I love it so much, and it simultaneously captures the essence of the book while also being just so over the top and terrible. So yeah, that'll be my answer. I've also heard that The Martian is a really good adaptation. Haven't seen it yet, so I'll have to get back to you on that. Which book character do you self-identify with the most? Elizabeth Bennet. I love to walk as well. I have a sister. I read books. You know, Keira Knightley and I both have a square face shape. It's just obvious. My goodness. No, I love Elizabeth Bennet, and I've always identified with her pretty strongly. I'm also Anne from Anne of Green Gables, probably. From Chloe. Oh, Chloe. Okay, so in middle school, I played Mary Poppins in our musical, and Chloe played Jane, who's one of the children Mary Poppins looks after, of course, and I love Chloe. Anyway, Chloe asked, what has been your most favorite theater role to portray? And it's gonna have to be Jamie from My Fair Lady, who is like the most minor character, but he is the drunk pal of Eliza's dad, pretty much, and he's in a little bit of luck, and I had so much fun with that role. That was the first and only time I was cast as a boy in a show, and I loved it. I loved the costume. Obviously, walking shouldn't be gendered, but I learned to walk more with my shoulders than my hips, and that was just like a really cool thing I'd never tried before. I loved the dancing. I had to pretend to lower my voice and also do a Cockney accent. It was just a good challenge. I wasn't on stage so much to the point of being super stressed out, but I got to be in really fun numbers, and I got to be the comedic relief, which also isn't a role I get very often. So I loved that part. Although Veruca Salt was also fun. Hi, Alex. Okay, you're given the power to revive one character in a book or series, but you have to kill one of their allies as a trade. Who do you save/kill? Oh my goodness, I don't know. Okay, I've decided on the series. We're gonna do Game of Thrones, but I can't decide who I want to kill yet. Okay, I've got it. I'm going to save Hodor. I'm gonna kill Bran. To be fair, I have not finished the series yet. Bran's chapters just annoy me, and I don't care. I don't like his internal dialogue. I don't know. He just annoys me, and Hodor is Hodor, right? And I shouldn't even know Hodor dies because I haven't finished the series. But because of the show, there are spoilers. They're inevitable. That's my choice, Alex. That was terrible, but thank you for your question. And then last but not least, from Kayleen, whose channel is called Kayleen Hudson. She is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. What is your favorite book to read over and over? One that you could know every detail, yet still find comforting to read. I have a couple, and they're probably redundant, and I'm sorry, but I love them. Anne of Green Gables, Perks of Being a Wallflower. I love Parable of the Sower. It's not like comforting at all. It's super depressing actually, but I find Octavia E. Butler's writing style quite therapeutic and insightful. And then probably the selected poems of Emily Dickinson. Yeah, I love those, and I think they're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, those were all of your guys' questions. To wrap up this video, I just wanted to talk briefly about summer. But it's been a really great summer, and a lot of that is due to you and your support and your challenging me on YouTube, which has been wonderful. I've also had a great summer with my friends, and I'm very grateful for it because I think we inevitably will have to take COVID precautions again as the year gets colder and darker. So thank you for being a bright light and spot in my summer. I have enjoyed it immensely. And thank you again for your questions. And I will see you super duper duper soon. And if you're going back to school soon, good luck. You're going to be amazing. Bye, guys.